guys, it's Stacy with Chapter Chicks, and yes, it's Saturday and I'm uploading a video. It's because I've been sick for the past 2 weeks, or me and my son have been sick for the past 2 weeks, so that's why I haven't been uploading any. And me and Jessica, we're going to upload our reactions on Friday, but we just kind of didn't. We're going to do separate reactions. Me and Jessica are dorks, so anytime there's a movie premiere that we like Harry Potter or Hunger Games. For some reason, we never make one for Twilight, but we always make movie t-shirts that we wear to the movie premieres. I don't know why, but we're just dorks. This is mine. I put down with the capital on the bottom, and then on the back it says District 12. If you want to know how to make these, actually one of our first subscribers made a video on how to make this, and that's how we got it. So I'll put a link to his video below. The only thing that we did different than what he did in his video was for the circle, to get it as perfect as we could, we put a pot, and then since the lid for the pot is bigger, we put a pot and then the lid to do the border for the circle to make it pretty good. But yeah, so that's how we made them. And also, if you got a large at the movie theater, you got a plastic Hunger Games cup, which I really love and will keep forever. And yeah, I love this bad boy. So I looked in my book. Every time I read a book, I always write down the year that I read it. And the last time I read this was in 2010, but oddly enough, all the details of it are still very clear just because I love it so much. Here I'm going to be talking about my feelings on the movie. It's basically just the movie review versus the book. These are very hard to do simply because obviously the book is better. Obviously the movie is going to be a disappointment compared to the book. Always that's going to happen. The movie is going to be a letdown in terms of towards the book, but how much of a letdown is basically what I was going for with this. Let's talk about the actors. Jennifer Lawrence, who plays Katniss, I thought she did a really good job. She is one of the rare characters, for me at least. Everyone has a different literary lens, but for me, she was actually acted and looked the part, which I noticed in a lot of these movies. They either cast somebody who looks the part or cast somebody who acts the part. They very rarely get somebody who does both. And she was both for me. She looked like Katniss in my mind, somebody who was very good looking but rough around the edges, and that to me was Katniss in my mind. She acted Katniss beautifully. I thought she did an amazing job. I couldn't have been happier with that. Josh Hutcherson, I think that's his name. He plays Peeta. I was very on the fence about him because when I picture him, I see the little kid, the little chunky kid from Bridge to Terabithia. So it was like really hard for me to kind of like divorce that from my mind, that no, he's not that little kid anymore, he's all grown up and now he's playing Peeta. But for me, he does not look the part of Peeta at all. I didn't picture Peeta that way, but he is a good actor and he does know what he is doing, and he did a really good job with Peeta. So I think that as the series progresses, because I know that they're going to make more, as the series progresses, I think I'm going to associate him with Peeta a lot more. At the end of the first one, I was kind of getting over it and kind of like thinking of him as Peeta, so I think that it's not a big deal because he acts very well. The guy who plays Gale, I don't know his last name, I'm sure somebody will correct me, but Liam, did you guys know that he is Thor's younger brother? I did not know that. I didn't know that, but now that I know that, it's like, yeah, they look just alike, but I think he did very well too. I think he is hot. I think he is so hot. And yeah, I think he did a good job as Gale. I do want to say one thing though. When I read the book, I wasn't Team Peeta or Team Gale. I wasn't like really rooting for either one of them because the love story in the book is takes such a backseat in the story that you just really don't care, like versus like Twilight where Team Jacob or Team Edward, the major part of the plot. But for this, the romance is kind of like a backseat. So when it's, I'm like asking myself, which one do I rather her end up with? I was just to the point where I just really didn't care. I wasn't really for either one of them. There was things about Peeta that I liked, and there was things about Gale that I liked. But I want to say that in the book, I kind of was leaning towards Gale a little bit. Weird for me because I always kind of gravitate towards the main one in the book, and I've never really gravitated towards the best friend sidekick character, and I kind of am. And then now that guy is being played by Liam, and Liam's beautiful, I am gravitating towards Gale even more so. So I'm not for sure. I'm still on the fence. I don't know which one I want, but I'm kind of leaning towards Team Gale on this one, guys. I was also really happy with Woody Harrelson's performance. I thought that they didn't portray Haymitch as drunkily as they could have, because to me, like, Haymitch was passed out most of the time. Like, he was incoherent. And they basically had to bring him out of that really like as drunk as I pictured Haymitch. But I'm kind of glad that they cut that out because I really didn't want to wait for him to come to his senses in the movie. Disappointed a little bit with Lenny Kravitz's portrayal of Senna. To me, Senna was a character who was both flamboyant and friendly-like, and kind of like an undertone of a mentor. The way that Lenny portrayed him, it was more like brought more of the mentor out than the friend flamboyant part of Senna, which I was kind of disappointed that wasn't in there. But I still really liked his job on it. I think that it was still really good. It could have been a lot worse, but I just wish he was a little bit more colorful and a little bit more extravagant when he was talking and stuff like that, because that's how I kind of pictured Senna. Yeah, so I think that the cast did really good. As for the movie itself, I don't want to watch this part if you haven't seen the movie, just in case you don't want to be spoiled on what was in the movie. And definitely do not watch this if you have not read the book or watched the movie, because I will spoil like crazy. Overall, I was pleased with the adaptation. I thought they did really good. There was a couple things that I really didn't like. I didn't like the camera shaking. I know in order for them to make the movie PG-13, they kind of had to do that to tell the story without actually really showing it. And the shaky camera kind of helped with that. But I was sitting in the second row, and the shaky camera was kind of giving me a headache. I really hate the shaky camera stuff. But it's not something that they did throughout the whole movie. They just did it in like really at the beginning and in like high action scenes. So it wasn't too bad. But I really didn't like it when they did do it. But nothing. It wasn't done too much to the point where I couldn't enjoy the movie still. In the book that I really didn't like from the movie adaptation is they're really not that big of a deal, but every single one of them I feel was very important in the book, because it kind of like gives us clues to how Katniss feels towards Peeta, and they cut out every single one of them. So the first one is bread scene with him and her in the rain, where he throws her bread. In the book, Katniss feels a lot of gratitude towards Peeta for throwing him the bread, because it saved her life. It saved her life, and it gave her food for her family. And in the movie, she didn't really say that at all. She just kind of was like remembering it, just remembering being cold. And then Peeta said that he wished he could go back to that and wish he could have done more, that he felt bad that he just thrown it. And she didn't really say any of her emotions or thoughts on it. If it wasn't somebody who's seen the movie or has read the book, you would kind of think where you wouldn't realize how much of a lifesaver that was for her to have that food. You would just kind of see like him throwing her food in the mud instead. So I really didn't like that she didn't really elaborate on her feelings on that scene at all. I also don't like that when in the arena that they find out that they can partner up. There's a scene in the book where Katniss yells out Peeta's name. She doesn't care who hears her. She doesn't care if she's found because of it. She's just so excited that she could team up with Peeta that she just screams out his name. And in the movie, she whispers it. So I thought that was weird. Again, it's not big things, but I feel like every one of these scenes shows that this is why Katniss likes Peeta. And for them to downplay it, it just makes it feel like her emotions are being downplayed, and you don't really see her having any emotions towards Peeta at all at this point. Even in the book where it's just emotions of friendship, you still don't see that in the movie. Another scene that I was really bummed out that they took out was at the end of the Hunger Games when they won and they're being taken out of the arena. Katniss and Peeta get separated, and Katniss can see Peeta through a glass because he has had injuries that he's sustained to his leg that they are working on. And Katniss kind of like feverishly beats on the door and does like this whole scene because they've been separated and she wants to be with him, and she doesn't even care about the games at this point anymore. And it just shows her feelings for Peeta, and that was taken out of the movie. But I didn't even notice it was taken out of the movie because for some reason I thought that scene happened in Catching Fire. Jesse's the one who pointed it out to me that it wasn't in there, and I'm like, oh yeah, because that's the point where you realize that Katniss really does have a lot of feelings for Peeta. So I feel like Katniss's feelings towards Peeta were downplayed a lot in the movie, but it's not nothing that's too big. Disappointing, yes, but doesn't kill the entire movie. Side note, let's just ramble on. I think they'll do a really good job with Catching Fire. I am kind of looking forward the most to Mockingjay because I hope, this is the first time you'll ever hear me say this too, I hope that there is a lot of things about Mockingjay that they change. Because I was so torn after I read Mockingjay, because there was things I felt like needed to happen, whether I liked it or not, and then there was things that did happen that I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? That's such a cop-out. So there's things about Mockingjay that I loved, and then there's things about Mockingjay that I hated. So hopefully they'll change the things that I didn't like. Let me know your likes and dislikes about the Hunger Game movie if you've seen it. Let me know if you went to the midnight premiere, if you made shirts. Yeah, or if me and you're just the only weird ones who do it. Yeah, but I liked it. They did a good job. I'm happy with it. So this is Stacy with Chapter Chicks, and hope you enjoy the review. Bye guys.